Well, I'm still playing with Youth Center, or have been playing with Youth Center. I haven't started doing any videos or anything as far as instructions on how to use it. Basically, just been playing with it. It's a fairly complex program. It wasn't very long before I came in here and started seeing that a lot of these tabs have no data in them. Matter of fact, just looking at this one straight up, I noticed that this monitor keeps flashing on and off. And the rest of them don't seem to have too much information in them. And I was going through looking at stuff, and this one, like hardware status, you can watch this change as it comes up from non-calibrated on the clock here. I'm not sure what this noise is. The long and the short of all this is, as you can see, this is a darn complex program. You come down in here, and this one says satellite information, and it shows some satellites by name, and I could learn what all these symbols and numbers represent, but like I say, I haven't delved down into Youth Center deeply yet. I'm looking for something that shows signal strength, as I said yesterday. So because, and here's your dilution of percentage, you can see it's this HDOP right here is pretty good right now. So I read that there's only certain signals from the GPS that are passed by Mission Planner. So that got me to thinking, well, darn, what I'm after just isn't in Mission Planner, nor is it in the pass-through of GPS data using Mission Planner. So this morning when I got up, I set up this little test here with a GPS out of the parts drawer. This is a BN880 GPS. It is a GPS and compass unit. So I just wanted to find something external to the Chimera 7 and Ardu. So what this is these big long cables here are, just a second, I'll show you what they are. I got these a long time ago for prototyping, and what these are, there's some old ribbon cables out of some old mainframe computers. And what I do is I just pull them off. This particular cable is DuPont, single connector DuPont on the end, and it's female DuPont connectors on both ends. And this is over, you can't tell when I do like that, can you? You can sort of tell it's quite long. It's about 3 feet long. And it just came out of an old mainframe computer. Just pulled it off the circuit boards where they were plugged in. So this one was plugged in a place where there were pins sticking out of the board, and was plugged into another board where pins were sticking out. Well, this one actually has male DuPont connectors on one end and female DuPont connectors on the other end. And again, it's about 3 or 4 feet of wire. When I first got these, they were 32 conductors side by side. And this one happens to be male DuPont. This one still hasn't been used as much as the other ones. That's why they're not pulled apart, and it's hard to work with. And again, it's as long as the other two, and it is DuPont male to DuPont male. So this morning, when I wanted to do this, I pulled 4 wires out of this It's actually a ribbon cable. It's kind of old too. You got to watch it when you pull them off. Sometimes the insulators kind of wore out. If you were 20, 40 years old, you'd be wore out too. So I've had all three of these for a considerable period of time, and when I want to quick prototype something, I'll just figure out which one of these three I need. So this little GPS had a connector on it for putting down, it's a DuPont connector, 6 pins for plugging down on a flight controller. So what's going on here is I took those wires that I just showed you, and I figured out, I'll pull one of them out, there's 4 here. It's just a male DuPont connector that I plugged into the proper place. Oops, can't get it back in there now. There we go. The proper place for ground voltage transmit and receive on this GPS module. And on the other end of the 3-foot wires, and I got them in 3 feet on purpose, because if after I prototype something I want to use these, I'll just cut them off to whatever length I want and throw the rest away. So it's been working good for me for years. Now on this end, I have an FTDI adapter. It's a little circuit board that sets up everything to create a COM port. So by reading the signals, what goes where, right across the board here, I have ground here, I have 3 volts, that's all this puts out, 3.3 volts, and transmit and receive. And this is a USB cable. It goes right over here into a USB hub. And I'll turn it on. That turns on that. That's the little hub I use to not have to walk around unplugging USB cables all the time when I need to do a cold boot by repowering. So you can see perhaps the light flashing there. Yeah, it's right in here. That's data going back and forth. And the GPS, it's lost its log now that I had to fire it back down, but still. So now, rather than having Arducopter mission planner in it, I'm just going from a USB to a FTDI board over to the GPS raw. There's no mission planner or anything in this anymore. And now let's look at what we get on the screen. So now that we've got Mission Planner and all its pass-through magic and all that stuff out of the way, because something I read said it doesn't really pass all the signals you're probably going to want, I set up that GPS I just showed you, and now this is the way it looks when you do the same thing. And you can see here again, this monitor flashes on and off, and the nav only has a few things that seem to be highlighted. The rest of them are what appears to me to be grayed out. And we do have a pretty good connection right now. The HDOP is down to 0.85. But again, I can't come over here, in the navigation and go down to SAT information and see much here. This just really isn't telling me. Well, no, it is probably telling me what I want to know, maybe even in a numeric fashion. But I'm looking for something quick and dirty. And yes, I've got 3 or 4 weeks to learn this before my little parts for my little 5-inch arrive. So I could do that, but I'm trying to find something quicker and easier. So after seeing that the GPS just raw straight into a USB port on my computer essentially yields the same results in uCenter as it does when I was doing the pass-through and mission planner with Arducopter. I don't think it's a problem with UCenter. I think it's a problem with my knowledge. So I need to find a different way to do this rather than buckling down and learning this program, so to speak. You know what I mean? So what I did is I installed Betaflight on the Chimera 7. And right here, GPS signal strength. Right here. This is what I'm looking for. I might like it in a little different flavor. But by putting Betaflight on the Chimera 7 and setting it all up for GPS use, I can play with this. I can turn the power on and see what it does to these signal strength meters. This is more what I'm looking for. I don't want something as complex as UCenter, although UCenter may have a numeric value someplace that says this is how good your signal strength is. This is more what I was looking for, and I think this is what I'm going to use for starters right now, unless somebody can show me something better. I mean, this doesn't have any numeric values on this signal strength, and I can see they're kind of fluctuating around, and I'm not sure unless there's a drastic change, like when I turn on the power, I lose. Right now I've got 9 satellites connected. I turn on the power and I lose like 4 satellites or 6 satellites real quick. That shows something. Here, I guess I should set that up, shouldn't I? So we'll just look right here. Here's the number of satellites. It's got 11. It's running between 11 and 8 right now. 10. So we're in the basement too. So getting 10 satellites locked up in the basement is magic anyway. There's 9. So it's not real. Well, would I say stable? No, I wouldn't really say stable. It's not real. Well, I guess stable would be the word for it. It's just the way it goes frequently when you're in a basement like this. It would be better outside. And the reason some of these 2 or 3 of the satellites are coming and going is just signal strength. But for kicks and grins, we'll run over real quick and we'll throw up the bench power supply and we'll turn it on. Whoops, I have to make it a different size, I think. Nope, I can't size this window. I want to be able, okay, I can see these signal strength indicators right now while I turn on the power. Down to 7. 7 and 8 now. 7, 8. And you can see the signals less. And right here, 7 sats, 8 sats now. Instead of jumping between 8, 9, 10, it's jumping between 7, 8, and now 9. Oh, we're back to 10. 9. So I don't know that this display gives me the sensitivity I want. 8, 9. And we'll just jump down there and turn off the power and see what happens when we do that. I'll click there and then click here real quick. Steady 10 now without jumping around. Did I get the power off? Yep. 10, 9. See? Just turning on the power here on the bench. Knocked it down a little bit. Now it's going between 9 and 10 pretty consistently.
Settling in on 10 right now. And if we turn the power back on, this isn't very scientific, is it? Yeah, we need some numeric values in these. Yeah, see, it's back down to 8 and 9. But look at this. GLONASS just jumped in. Whoa. Oh, I just noticed that. Did show a bunch more there for a second. So, don't know that this signal strength indication is going to be extremely useful to me. But I will try a few little experiments with it and then continue to look for something else. Yeah, we're back down to 8 and 9, which is still flyable. 8 would be flyable. But what I'm worried about is if something was so much interference that they all went away for a half a second and caused positioning problems. So we'll turn this off. We'll just shut down that utility. That controls my bench power supply from my computer through a USB cable. It can also be controlled from the front panel. Still around 9, 10. So, I don't see that this, well, I was going to say I don't see that this is functional. It is functional. It's just I'm not sure the sensitivity of these signal strength meters here is enough. I'm mostly just using this right here. 10 sats, nice and firm. Steady, stable connection. Turn on that power. Did you disconnect? Yep. Turn that power back on and see, it drops. You can see that it does drop from the interference, but I can't tell how it is in these signal strength meters particularly. I can only see it in the number of sats locked right here. So down to 7 now. So this is the kind of thing I'm searching for, but I'm not sure this is quite what I want. But I do have Betaflight loaded up on the Chimera 7 now. I'm going to go ahead and save away a copy to this so I can come back later, and after I've finished doing what I want with Ardu, I'm going to come back and play with Betaflight 9nav on this quad. I'll show you what I had going on across the room. We're down to 7 sats now with no power applied, so not very workable, is it? 7, and I think I turned away there for a second. I think I saw 6 there for a second. So I'm going to show you the rest of my test setup here, and then we'll wrap this up, and I guess my search will go on. I think everybody can at least see what I'm looking for now. We can also see that the Chimera 7 is not going to be that big of a problem. There's a lot I can do with it still. Wished I'd have done this before I put that foil on the GPS wires yesterday or the day before, and I'm not going to take it off to see what it's like without it. And we're back up to 10 sats again.
And this is what's happening on the other side of the room. This is the bench power supply. And it was sitting like that. I just let it stay like that. With it down like that. That's what was happening. And like I say, I rubber band that up. And the rest shouldn't bother it. So, again, I think the Chimera is pretty good. And again, you can also control this from the front panel. just like you can from that little utility program. But the quest will continue, trying to figure out the best way. And I guess one of the things I need to do now is just dig down in the data logs of Ardu and see how you find GPS interference in the data logs from Ardu Copter. And if I find anything on that, I'll probably show you that tomorrow. Thanks, guys.